be learning how to set up bleeds in InDesign. I will also show you how to place a document into InDesign from Photoshop. First of all, bleed is a printing term that refers to printing that goes beyond the edge of the sheet after trimming. Bleeds in the US are 1/8 of an inch from where the cut is to be made. We can see that right here. Okay, so let's go into Photoshop, and you can choose any picture. This is a picture that I took. So before we actually save this as a PSD file, we want to check the size of this picture. So we can go into Image, Image Size, and now we see that it's 13.6, 10.2 by 240. Okay, so you probably want to write that down too, so I'm actually going to jot this down, 13.6 by 10.2, because you will be using this size later in Illustrator. Okay, and the resolution is 240. It should be 300 for printing, but 240 will do fine for now, since we're not actually printing. So I press OK, and now I go to File, Save As, Picture, and we can just save it as a Photoshop file, and we can actually place it into InDesign. So save. Yes, let's replace it with the other one. Okay. So now this picture is saved as a Photoshop file. Now that you have a Photoshop file of this picture, we can go into InDesign. When you open up your InDesign, you will see a Create New Document, Book, or Library. You can also open new or recent items. So what we want to choose is a document. Now we don't have to worry about facing pages or anything like that. However, when you do look at the measurements, they're not in inches. So to change that, all you have to do is write this in. We have 13.6 inch. Remember to write the inch afterwards because it automatically just makes it into inches. See? Okay, now we put in 10.2, oops, 10.2 inch, and it should change. Now to create actual bleeds, all you have to do is press more options. So as you can see, that's right here. Now the bleed is over here. So, as before, we said bleeds in the US are usually 1/8 of an inch. So, we can write that down. Let's see if that works. Yes. And now it just changes everything, so you don't have to worry about that. So after you have this setting, we can just make it into 0 again. I can show it again. So once again, we have our zeros, and we can just type in 1/8 of an inch, and we should get the same result. Yes. So now you can press OK, and it will create your new document. Okay, so we have a setup document right here, and to place a file, all you have to do is go into File, Place, choose Picture, or whatever you named your file, your Photoshop file, open, and you get this little rectangle. And what you want to do is you want to place it right in the corner of the red area. So you put that in, and you see that your picture is placed in. Now, if you look closely, you can notice that there are blue lines surrounding the picture. That means that you have the whole picture selected and that you can move it around, right? So let's move it back to the corner of the red. Now, to make your picture fit in, actually, all you have to do is drag the blue lines all the way to the red. They should click in place. However, that does not change the size of your picture, that just changes the area of your picture. So now all you have to do is double click on the picture, and you get these brown lines surrounding the picture, which will actually increase the size until you get these red lines surrounding your picture, which means that they fit into the area of the blue lines. So just drag it there and let it go. So now our picture is ready to be cut out. And we won't mind that it's cutting out some of the pieces, that's okay, as long as we know that it's cutting it off. Because you can support your files in a different way. So now we can see that there is bleed and that we know where it's going to be cut. Alright, so right now we have our whole document set up. Now to export it, we go File, Export, and we're going to save it as a PDF. We can call it Picture once again. Save. And now, in general, we see that it's a 1A. We don't want it to be modified. We just want a normal 1A because that is the standard for the United States. And now we go into Marks and Bleeds, and we press this, and we want to make sure that we have these ones. All printers marks, crop marks, and bleed marks, so that people can see when they're cutting it. And we want to use document bleed settings, which is just fine. So once we have all of these select, we can press export. And now we wait for Adobe Acrobat Pro. And now you can see your file in Adobe Acrobat and see what it actually looks like and see where it's actually going to be cut. So our file looks good and it's ready to be used. It's ready to be printed.